Every story about Belfast starts like this. But not this one.
Like I discovered the Beatles. If the Beatles were shit.
With Kneecap, Mokara, Multiback, and DJ Proby, and you guys are having a year, an amazing year. We're all happy for you. You guys are in New York. How do you like New York? I've heard how you guys like LA. So how do you guys like in New York?
Yeah, New York. I'll take New York over LA any day.
Nice.
People are very friendly.
Yeah.
Pizza's good.
Pizza's good.
I think New Yorkers get a bad rep that they're not friendly. I'm constantly met with friendly people wherever.
I really like it. Nice mix of cultures, nice mix of people.
You've got too many Irish bars though. My liver can't fucking handle it.
Too many free drinks.
Too many free drinks in these Irish bars.
You know, this premiere at Sundance, you saw the response to it from everybody. You guys are artists, not necessarily filmmakers. How was the process to get to being on camera? You know?
Well, it took, obviously as you said, we weren't actors, like, so it took 3 or 4 months of acting classes with a coach called Kieran Lagan. So it was a lot of like exercises for us to become present and get out of our heads. And you know, like staring into each other's eyes for 5 minutes.
It's a very tough thing, even though we're very good friends. Staring into someone's eyes for like 10 minutes is a challenge.
Yeah.
Especially his eyes. He's so big and gorgeous.
How's it working with Rich?
Awful.
I knew it! He told me the same shit.
Nah, he was class. So he's from England and he didn't come in with any like preconceived ideas of what Ireland's like. He let us have our say on what our opinion is on the process. So because of that, I think that's why we made a film that's very special.
Yeah.
You know, with that being said, this was the first Irish language film at Sundance, first Irish language film at Tribeca. How important was language in this film for you? And especially when the process started, the writing, the filming, and all that.
Really, it's the first indicator of somebody's identity, really, is their language, and I feel like our language in particular was driven to almost extinction. And obviously there's a rebirth and a regeneration of it right now, but it was driven to almost extinction around the west of Ireland, basically, from colonial policies, let's say. So I think it's really important that this language is getting the recognition it deserves. I mean, it's always been a very good language. I mean, it's over 2,000 years old. It connects you to the land, connects you to where you're from, and for too long, obviously, it's been sort of shit on, for lack of a better word. So it's nice to bring it into, you know, mainstream situations and stuff. For a lot of people that have probably never even heard the language or knew it was a thing.
Obviously, we speak with each other as well, you know. So it's like it's not just a novelty for us. This is the way we live our language. We just speak Irish to each other and to our friends and families and that as well.
Yeah.
And the language itself is a character. It's got its own arc in the film and stuff, and it was kind of central to the whole plot line.
I think it's very important because we're here and the history that Irish people have of colonialism, what's going on in Palestine at the moment, and we're blessed to be here representing what we do in this movie, but obviously our hearts go out to what's happening in Palestine right now.
It was, and it's amazing to see, and just seeing, you can see waving at people, the amount of people here wearing Palestinian stuff.
Yeah.
Like people are wearing Palestinian earrings, they're wearing the watermelon, like,
Yeah, it's very
to see.
important.
You know, as a Palestinian filmmaker, I do want to say, you know, the Irish and Palestinian cause have been tied together for
A long time.
And how important was that for you? I mean, you've gotten some criticism in the past. I mean, obviously, fuck the Tories, right? You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, to end on that, how important is it in your identity to bring that up?
Well, like, I just think solidarity for a long time is such an important aspect of this, what's going on. And in Ireland, we know how solidarity can be very effective for people, make them feel worthy, they give them confidence. We got solidarity from the Native Americans during the famine. We got it from America, all these places, and I just know how important it is for a country to feel that they are supported and feel seen. That's all we can do, and use whatever platform we have to give a voice to people maybe who feel like they don't have a voice.
Congrats on Tribeca.
We're pumped to be here.
How did this come together? I mean, I'm a huge fan of the group. Seeing this, you know, seeing it come to life, their story was amazing. What attracted you to jump on board to this?
Look, this is a film that on paper has no right to exist, right? It's a film about a band that have never released an album, that were a small local band, and you know are rapping in a language that less than 100,000 people in the world speak. That's not a movie that you think is going to end up in Tribeca, but you know, the growth of them over time has been phenomenal. From when we started out this 5 years ago, they've just got better and better and better. And it feels like their debut album's coming out next week. Everything.
Love making.
It is. Everything is coming out, coming together, and it's just like the rocket, the great ship Kneecap is going to the moon. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I'm a fan. I just saw one of their gigs and was just blown away. And I thought, you know what, I want to work with these guys. I don't know how, but you know, a few drinks in, we came up with the idea, you know, a few drinks, a few pints, we're like, yeah, maybe it'd be kind of crazy, and you know, the fact it was so counterintuitive to make this film, with three lads who not actually never acted before, kind of was the reason to do it. It was such a challenge, and what can I say, I'm a masochist. I thought, that would be really difficult to pull off. Fuck it, let's do it.
What were some of the challenges you guys had filming?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, the lads never acted before, right? And so that was a matter of, it took sort of 6 months of acting classes to really get them to a level where we all felt comfortable. Felt like, you know, that they could bring what they do on stage. And stage performance is a very big, out there sort of thing, while screen performance, it's about taking that energy and internalising it a lot more. And so for me, it was all about that process of learning how to do that. And once it clicked with them, it was amazing. I mean, it really was like moth to butterfly.
Wow. Michael Fassbender, how did that come about? You know, I mean, to me, the crazy thing about this movie is he was a great part of it, but he didn't overshadow the lads, which I think was massive.
Well, and that was a big thing when Michael read the script, and you know, within a week came back and said, I want to be a part of it. I love the band. I've seen their videos. I just think they're special. He wants to be part of the film. It really was that simple. But the thing about Michael is he was always, from day one, he did not want this to be a Michael Fassbender film. He wanted to make sure that the band kept front and centre, and he was so generous behind the scenes with his time and his advice. And it lifts all of you. When you've got someone as special as Michael Fassbender as part of your film, it just makes you want to lift your levels and do that a little bit better, because he's worked with the best directors in the world. You name them, he's worked with them. And that's a bit intimidating, right? So you feel you've got to bring your A game.
For sure. You know, this was the first Irish language film at Sundance, first Irish language film at Tribeca. How important was it for the group and for you to make sure the Irish language was prominent in this movie?
Hey, look, from the very start, we knew we wanted to make a film that resonated first and foremost with Irish speakers, right? So that we didn't want it to suddenly become a thing where that got watered down. And so all the time there was a real push to make sure that didn't. As more funders came on, as it got a bigger thing, there was certain pressure to pull back on that. But these lads, they speak Irish every day. Like, they don't. Irish language isn't some sort of political statement. They just live their life. That's their language, right? So for them, it makes absolute sense they're doing it in Irish. One thing about this film, it's authentic. You know, it's really authentic, and we really pushed to make sure that was the case, and hopefully that comes across to audiences.
Perfect. I have one last question for you. What's a movie that you had growing up that was your go-to, maybe a guilty pleasure, maybe something to this day as a filmmaker you always turn to, you can watch 100 times, and why should people watch it? It could be anything. It could be
so my youngest daughter is called Amelie.
Okay, yeah.
And Amelie is one of my favourite films. Right.
Okay.
You know, I was blown away the first time I watched that. Yeah, a foreign language film, a Sony Pictures classic film.
Yes.
Right. And so when they came on board with a project, I was like, of all the companies running on board, Sony Pictures classic, amazing. They released Amelie, and so I think it was a film that showed what you could. A foreign language film doesn't have to be a niche thing, and the risks that were taken in that film, creatively, visually, to me, it really just got me at a young age going, I want to make films. I want to be part of that, and so I'm going to say Amelie.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Something like that.